Welcome to the EmpowerHer Wellness podcast. I'm Morgan, and I'm thrilled to be your host and wellness coach as we navigate the path to a healthier, more confident you. As the owner of Get Fit With Me, I bring years of experience in personal training, nutrition, and coaching to each episode. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and more, all tailored for busy women just like you. Let's empower your wellness journey and achieve lasting transformation together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of the EmpowerHer Wellness podcast. I'm your host and coach, Morgan Ekovich, and I'm really excited. Today, I am going to be answering questions submitted by you. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been posting on my story. I've been posting in some local groups, and I've been asking, what would you like me to answer? What questions are you asking Google? What questions are you putting into ChatGPT that you would actually like a real person to answer who has the degree, who has the certifications? And most of the questions, surprisingly, typically when I do this, I get more nutrition questions. This time through, I got more exercise questions. So I have picked about 6 questions today that we are going to cover, discuss, and talk about. At the end, if you would like more support, please make sure you go over to the show notes and 2 things. If you had a question that popped up that you're like, please answer this on your next Q&A, send me an email with that question. I'll answer it for you kind of briefly and then let you know it will come up in our next Q&A. But then 2, if you're like, oh my goodness, I need help. I want you to write me a program. I want the accountability, whatever that looks like after we go through today's questions. Go to those show notes, click my email, send me an email, and let me know, hey, I want to talk about what coaching looks like, because exercise can be super intimidating. It can be super intimidating. It can be super challenging. And I love the questions you guys asked. So there was way more than 6 questions submitted, but don't worry, we're going to do another session. And for those of you who didn't get your questions answered, don't worry. I will be sending out private messages to you with the answers to those with a voice memo so that you're not just waiting around for that next Q&A session. So let's dive into it. Let's start with that first question that was submitted. And it's, I haven't worked out in forever. What's the best kind of workout to start with? And I love this question, partly because we always get caught, if it's been a while or we've never done something, we get caught in the making sure we are doing the best perfect workout. In reality, the best workout is the one that's going to get you to actually do it. But I know sometimes that right there is like, Morgan, that's not the answer I'm looking for. So first thing is, I want you to ask yourself, what type of movement is that movement that's going to get you to do it consistently? Is it dancing? Is it taking a class? Is it strength training? Is it walking? Is it stretching? Is it yoga? Whatever it looks like. First, ask yourself. But then if you're still like, I just don't know the best one, there's not a best one, but the 2 that I recommend are walking. Depending on your level, start with either a daily walk for 10 to 15 minutes, or if your schedule doesn't allow for that, choose 2 or 3 days a week to do a longer 10, 20, 30-minute walk. So very easy and basic. You need no equipment at all. But start with walking. The power of just moving our body more has huge impacts. So that's the first thing, that if you're like, I just don't know where to start walking. Start walking. It is beautiful here in Michigan right now. So like, go enjoy the sunshine, get outside, listen to music, call a friend, listen to a podcast, whatever that is, and just start moving more, walking. Very simple, easy on the body. So the next thing I want you to do, once you've kind of got into walking, if you're like, I'm not looking for walking, I'm looking for something else, you need to be walking in general. But 2, I want you to start doing body weight workouts. So body weight workouts can be counter push-ups, ground push-ups. It can mean squats, lunges, glute bridges. It can mean a variety of things. So body weight movements are a really good way to move through our body's range of motion, make sure everything feels okay. Because one of the things that people typically do is they go to a setting where they see people using weight. They've never done this movement, but they're adding weight. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, this feels terrible. And our body starts to compensate, and our form actually suffers because we've added weight too soon. So it's really important that we build on the mechanics and the foundation of our body And that starts with body weight. That starts with glute bridges. That starts with squats or sit to stands. Like I mentioned, we need to start with our body weight first, making sure we've got that proper range of motion. So if you are somebody who's like, what is the best place to start? Body weight movements, making sure that your body can move through full ranges of motion that is proper for your body, and walking. Once you've mastered those, come talk to me. Go send me a message, come talk to me, and let's see what that next step is, because you're probably going to be ready for weight sooner than you think. So, next question that I had submitted, which I also really enjoyed, is I'm starting out. How many days should I be working out? I love this because the word should is in this. So, how often should I be doing this? What should I be doing? You should be moving your body as often as possible. But I know I have to say that a little lightly, because for some of you, you are a 0 to 100 person where you are just going to be like, okay, she said as often as possible. Anytime I'm sitting, I'm going to be moving. No. What I want you to think about is first looking at your calendar and looking at what your life currently looks like. And this is something I do with every single one of my clients, is we don't start working together and I don't just start saying, okay, we're going to do 5 strength workouts. We're going to make sure we're walking 30 minutes a day. We're going to make sure we're doing interval training. We're going to make sure we've got this. No, I'm going to say, okay, realistically, how many days can you commit to walking 20 to 30 minutes? If they say 2, we're going to start at 2. I'm not going to give them 7 if that doesn't actually fit into their schedule. So first you have to really look in at yourself and look in at your calendar and be honest with yourself of how much time do you have to set aside? Do you have time for 2 30-minute strength training workouts during the week? Great. Let's start there. The goal of that, though, is not to back them up. So we don't necessarily want to do your 2 strength. If you only have 2 strength training workouts, don't put them back to back days if you don't have to. Let's create a plan so you can do one on Monday and one on Wednesday. And then maybe we walk on Tuesday, we walk on Friday. So finding things that actually fit into our schedule. So in an ideal world, I would like to make sure you are walking 30 minutes, 5 days a week. I would also really like it if you're doing 2 to 3 days of strength training. That's not ideal. That does not always happen for me, depending on the week. Are we traveling? Are we home? What is going on? So I have set myself up with my minimums, but I've built this over time of absolutely my minimum is 2 strength training workouts and it's 3 outdoor walks. That is my minimum. Do I get more than that? Yeah, but like I'd rather do more and pat myself on the back and give myself a gold star than commit to 7 days a week that I know is not going to happen, that I'm going to then feel like I've dropped the ball, I'm a failure, all of those things. We cannot come at it as a 0 to 100 approach. As you are building your routine, we start small and we build into what is sustainable long term. So just kind of think about that. Like, first ask yourself, what can you commit to? And then from there, let's put in the walking, let's put in the strength training, and then let's find that ideal for you down the road. Next question. Why do I start strong and then fall back off again? And this right here, to me, I interpret it as, why do I get all gung-ho? I start on Monday and then all of a sudden I fall off the wagon come the weekend and I got to start all over again. Kind of goes back to that last question. You are setting unrealistic expectations for yourself. You're saying, I'm not going to eat any sugar. I'm not going to drink any alcohol. I'm going to work out for an hour every day. I'm going to make sure I only eat whole foods, nothing processed. I'm going to make sure that I get 10,000 plus steps. You go 0 to 100. So this actually, it can be a few different things, but this is typically the one that it is. I'll tell you the other reason in a second that I typically see, but this is the reason that most people are unsuccessful and feel like they keep falling off the wagon over and over again, is you are overcommitting to what you can actually do in your lifestyle. We are all 100% different. My life is different than your life, which is different than your sister's, which is different than your mom's and your best friends. We may all have similarities in we're all females. So if maybe you're a mom and you may think, oh yeah, our lives look similar, but they are not the same, nor are your bodies. So we have to remember that. And what you can do is probably different than what your best friend can do. And that's okay. We're all individualized. So as we are starting something, if you're noticing you're kind of getting all gun ho, you're going, and you stop, and you kind of have to restart over and over and over again. I recommend you looking at what are you trying to do? Are you trying to do more than two things at a time? If you are, you need to dial it back to only two. Ideally, I'd like you to get one consistently, but it's really hard for everyone to only commit to one thing. Everyone's like, well, one plus or like 1.5. So pick two. Pick two things. A lot of times it's one exercise and one nutrition is what people usually do. And I'm okay with that. But get consistent with that. Do that plan for at least 30 days straight, making sure you're hitting it 80% of the time before you add something else in. We're not going to be able to do it 100% of the time because that's not realistic long term, but can we do it 80% of the time? So that is the number one reason why people keep feeling like they're going really good and then they fall back off. They're doing really good and they fall back off. The other thing that I find that happens with people who come to me, and this is a perfect question because you're not the only one who deals with this. We get going and we're like, we're doing really good. I'm going to the gym. The other thing that happens specifically with exercise is we do not have a plan. So your plan is to go to the gym. Your plan is to lift upper body. Your plan is to go to the gym. Your plan is to lift full body. Your plan is to go downstairs and do a workout. Like that is as far as you have planned forward, which is a fantastic place to start. But we all get decision fatigued. And if you don't actually have a written out plan or an agenda when you are walking down to your basement to work out, when you are going to the gym to work out, whether it's upper body, lower body, full body, whatever it is, and saying, I'm just going to do the machines, that is not enough of an agenda for you. Because what's going to happen is eventually you're going to start going and you're going to say, well, I'm just going to walk on the treadmill because it's easier than me thinking through my rotation today. So that's where I come in, is I get to help clients create strength programs based on their life. And it could even be, hey, go take this class that I actually recorded for you. For me, it's when I say I'm cycling, I have to give myself a plan of I'm going to cycle for 30 minutes, which means I know when I jump on my bike, I'm going to go in, I'm going to click the 30-minute classes, and I'm going to pick one of them. That is as much decision making that I need to make. Because the more decisions that come into play, the more likely we are to just kind of, I'll just stop. Or you're at the gym, you're on the treadmill, you're warming up, you're thinking through your workout, you're like, okay, I'm going to do lat pull downs, I'm going to do chest presses, and then we get distracted. Or all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know what else I want to do. And then that starts to kick in. And then we start to think, what's the best exercise? When really the exercise is the goal that we are getting to right now. Because we're talking about beginner, even intermediate right now, it's the goal of exercising and being consistent. So if you're somebody who's like, I go to the gym really well, that all of a sudden I drop off, do you actually have a plan when you go into the gym, or are you making it when you get there? If you're making it when you get there, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are breaking that consistency. Create a plan, work with a coach, reach out to me. Let's talk about what a plan looks like. Or find a plan to follow so that you know that I'm going in and I'm doing this on this day. The amount of decision fatigue that takes away for somebody else to tell you what to do that knows what they're doing. One, it makes you feel confident going in. And two, you're just like, I just have to follow this list or I have to follow this video. That's why people tend to like classes, because they just get to show up and listen and do the thing. I get it. I love teaching classes, but I also love when people work out individually because classes are great, but you can't always get that one-on-one approach that I really think is necessary for most people, because you may have an injury or you're coming off of just having a baby, or maybe you are now a grandma and you're starting to run around more. There's so many factors. So we want to make sure we're tailoring our workouts to you, but that starts with having a plan that you can follow and not just winging it every single time you go into the gym, because that eventually is going to wear you down. Okay, so next question. I want to join a gym, but I have no idea where to start when it comes to exercising on my own outside of class. So this kind of leads into that. This person submitted this question. I thought this was awesome. Number one, find a gym that when you walk into, you feel comfortable. For some, you may be trying to find a gym where you hopefully will run into nobody you know in your life. For others, you're going to find a community center that you're like, I want to see familiar faces. Eventually, when you start going to a gym consistently, you're going to find those familiar faces. Making sure you feel comfortable when you walk into the gym is number one. Number two, ask when you are at those gyms taking those tours, hey, do you have kind of a jumpstart program, orientation program where a trainer can take me through showing me all the equipment, making sure I kind of understand it? Some gyms say yes, some gyms say no, but definitely ask as you're walking into the gym. If you're like, I am starting to go to court one and this is going to be my gym, I feel really comfortable there. What now? I don't want to do classes. I want to start on my own. Always make sure we've got a proper warm up. You want 5 to 10 minutes of dynamic movements. So this can mean high knees, butt kicks. This can mean alternating back strokes. It can mean a little bit of walking on the treadmill, open and close the gate, world's best stretch. There's a ton of these, but we want it to be dynamic movements, getting that blood flowing, getting our muscles nice and warm. After that, personally, 95% of the clients I work with is we do full body workouts because their goal is to get 3 workouts in a week. 3 30-minute and full body tends to be the most effective for them. Don't get me wrong, I have that 5% of clients who we do upper body splits, lower body splits, all of that. But full body workouts seem to be the most time effective for the clients that I work with, and they see results. So for our full body, we want to make sure that we are working something for our chest. So we want to push movement. We want to pull movement, something for our back. We want something for our core, which is going to be that not just in their front where we may see abs, because let's be honest, most of us aren't going to see abs, but it runs all the way around. So it's that low back. Your core is like a cylinder. Then we want to make sure we've got something for our quads, which is going to be our squat move. And then we have something for our glutes and our hamstrings, which would be a hinge move. So if you can walk in and you can do 5 movements that are going to hit all those, you can do a squat, a deadlift, a single arm row, a chest press, and band press outs. You could pick those 5 moves, start with 3 rounds of 10, go around and see, okay, pick a lighter weight. If you are doing, let's say those chest presses, let's say you grab a set of 5s and you're doing the chest presses and you're like, wow, these feel really easy. And you get to that 3rd round of 10 and you still feel like you can keep going, your weight needs to go up next time. Same thing, if you are on round 1 and you're like, wow, I could do like 30 of these, bump your weight round 2. Keep going. Oh, I feel like I could still do 30 of these, bump your weight again. And I'm not saying like bump from 5 to 6 pounds because you're not going to see that most likely. You're going to see like a 5 to an 8 to a 10 is typically what I see if there's a jump in between. Sometimes it's a 5 to a 10 depending on your gym. If you are using a machine, you usually have 5-pound increments. So everything weight-wise is going to be challenging to try to figure out in the beginning, but start light. You can always add more. You can always add more. The other thing I want you to think about is when you are doing this, being controlled in your movements. So often as females, when we are not in a class setting, being led and being guided throughout, what happens is we say, here's our list of workouts. You go in with your plan. You're like, I'm good. I'm going to do those squats. I'm going to do 3 rounds of 10 of squats, deadlifts, chest press, bent over rows, and band press outs. I got it. You don't take a rest. You go from one move to one move to one move to the next move to the next move to the next move without taking a rest. You need to make sure you rest between moves at least 30 seconds at minimum. Like, take a breath. It's not a race. It is not a race to get your workout done. The other thing you want to do is make sure, so kind of find that rhythm for you. Typically, in that 30-minute setting, I do 2 circuits. I do 2 circuits in there. One of them is kind of our main muscle groups, and our other one is our accessory muscles. So our accessory muscles would be like our calves, our biceps, our triceps, some of those smaller muscles that are still utilized on a regular basis, But that bicep is not a big major muscle. No, that chest is, or that back is. So we can dive completely into this in a whole nother episode. But when you're on your own, think of what is a squat, what is a hinge, what is a chest press movement, a push, what is a pull, and then do you have a core move? If you're hitting those and you're feeling confident in your machines, then you are doing the right thing. The one thing that I do see that I'm just going to throw out here as kind of a little side note is there are going to be multiple machines at the gym that work the same exact muscles. For instance, there is usually a seated hamstring curl machine and one where you lay on your stomach and do a hamstring curl machine. Most people don't notice or know they are working the exact same muscle. So I went through this with a client. We were at the gym and I had them show me their routine. And they were doing 2 quad machines, 2 hamstring machines, 2 calf machines, 2 chest machines, 2 row machines. They were working the exact same muscles. And there's different machines for that reason, is everybody's body's different. So they have multiple options. That being said, I was able to teach her of, okay, so all these machines, you like them, but let's not do them all on the same day. Let's choose this quad, this hamstring, this row, this push. And then the next time, let's do the other round. Because if you like them and we can make them work, let's make it work. But we don't need to do them all in the same day, especially when we're doing 3 rounds of 10. So really just think about those main moves. And if you want like a specific list of these are all the hinge moves, these are all the squat moves, these are all the push, the pull, and the core moves that I would recommend, I can give you a master list. This list is massive. So if you would like that list, go to the show notes and shoot me an email and just say list. Just say, I want your list, and I will send that over to you so that you can have that, you can print that, and then you can kind of start creating your own workouts. That right there is part of how I create workouts with clients is I have this master list, 1 on paper, 2 in my brain, that based on injuries, based on your goals, based on, okay, do they struggle with balance? How are their knees? Oh, do we have a shoulder injury? All of that. That's how I curate your workouts is we look at those big muscle groups first, and then we work on those accessory moves based on your goals. So fantastic question. I loved that one because the first thing is just making sure you feel comfortable in the gym. After that, we can put together an exercise routine. That is the easy part. Being comfortable in the gym is the more challenging part. Okay, we've got 2 more questions here. I want to work out at home, but what type of equipment do I need to get started? Love this because I started my home gym during COVID. And if we go back to that first question of what is the best workout I should be starting with, it should be body weight. So really, to get started in your home gym, you don't need anything. You can put weight in a backpack and you put the backpack on. You can hold a gallon of water. You can hold a laundry soap, whatever it is. You can use things from around the house if you would like. But if you would like to purchase equipment, my favorite, and I will add these links to the show notes, is I got a TRX or a suspension trainer. I actually got a knockoff version of a TRX. And it is phenomenal because you can do a full body workout. It's all based on your own body weight. So for instance, so it's hooked up to like the top of a door or in an anchor. And then the more upright you stand to do a row, the easier it is. The closer my feet get to the anchor point, the more challenging it is. So I can make a move easier and harder in seconds. So that is really awesome. It also is easy to travel with. So the suspension trainer, when you buy one, like I said, I'll put the link in there, but when you buy one, it comes with an anchor that you can put in a door. It doesn't come with like the wall mount hard metal anchor. That's okay. As long as your door does not open towards you, you can use it on that door because you're just going to pull that door shut and you're going to be nice and sturdy and you're going to be able to do a full body workout, literally anything from front, back, ground, everything. The suspension trainer is my favorite. It's also really good for balance and core. The next thing, if you're like, okay, Morgan, I have that. That's really nice. It doesn't take up a lot of room. Well, then what do you recommend? A set of resistance bands and mini bands. I love my mini bands. I like the Perform Better ones, but honestly, I've bought the ones that are like $15 cheaper and they're just as good. I just bought the Perform Better ones a couple years ago and they haven't broke on me, so I haven't had to buy new ones. But I know the cheaper ones are just as good because I've had other clients buy them. So a set of mini bands is super great. We can do a lot of hip work, strength work, all of that. Then the next set would be a long set of resistance band. Those also come with an anchor, but they also come with detachable handles. So you essentially have a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pound resistance band, and each of them are individual. So if you put a handle on each end of the 10, you have 10 pounds you're moving. 20. Resistance that way and actually a 10-pound dumbbell that you're moving are two different types, but it's the strength that the resistance gets harder, which is going to make the movement more challenging. You can do a lot of stuff with a long set of resistance bands, a set of mini bands, and a TRX. Like you can do so much. You will honestly probably you'll never run out of movements. But if you're like, okay, now Morgan, like I have those, but I really want to get into weights. My ultimate favorite set of weights is I tried the Bowflex. The Bowflex were great. We borrowed them from a friend during COVID and it was awesome. They worked super well. But for someone like me who is putting weights in the car to possibly go see a client or to go teach boot camp, or I have clients here, whatever that looks like, I need to be able to not have to take 100 pounds of weight in my vehicle. These power system adjustable weights are my favorite because whatever that weight I put in, so if I only put 30, so they're 50-pound stacks, if I put 30 in, I can leave the 35, 40, 45, and 50-pound stacks here, and I can put the 30-pound in my car. So I'm not having to carry 100 pounds of weight. I could carry 20 pounds of weight or 30 pounds or whatever that looks like. They're so much more convenient for me. Adjustable weights are the way to go. Unless you're trying to make this big fancy gym where you're like, I want the aesthetic of every single size dumbbell, different story. But if you're like, I want weights at home, I recommend getting a set of 5 pounds just so you have them, especially for us females. If you have never done shoulder moves before, you probably are going to want something lighter. And then the adjustables are from 10 to 50 is the power system set that I have. So from there, I've got a set of 5s and then I have 10 and those go up by 5-pound increments. So with that, in a spot the size of this book, which I know you're probably listening, but it's like a foot tall. I don't know. I'm not very good at measurements. Like they're no more, they're like a rectangle shape. They're like a rectangle shape. They take up very little room. The fact that I can have 100 pounds of weight in the size of like my laptop, if I were to put them on top of my laptop, they'd be the same exact size. Takes up like no room at all. Absolutely love it. That would be the thing that I would invest in next. And then the final thing, if you're looking to upgrade your at-home workout area, is an adjustable bench. So one that can go from laying flat to being all the way up to sitting at a 90 degree, because it's fun to be able to do different angles. And if you don't have that bench, then it's a little bit more challenging to do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. It just makes it a little bit more challenging. And with that bench, it just allows for a little bit better support. So just some things to think about. Like I said, I'm going to put all the links to my favorites from Amazon in the show notes so that you can go check it out. Resistance bands, mini bands, TRX/suspension trainer. Like I said, I got a knockoff, power systems, adjustable weight, and adjustable bench. Those are my favorite go-to. I've got other fun stuff like a Bosu ball and a slam ball, but like those don't get used nearly enough because I use the basics. And there's so many ways to use the basics. You don't really need all the other stuff. So the last question, and I think this is honestly one that is really important, but I think we're afraid to ask because we're just afraid to ask for help and to look stupid. And your safety does not make you look stupid. So the question is, how do I know if I'm doing the exercise right? I'm scared to hurt myself. Number one, if you do not feel comfortable doing something, please, 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 please do not add weight. Reach out to me. Secondly, if you're ever doing a movement and it hurts, or there's a sharp pain, or there's a burning, or there's a snap, or there's anything that is abnormal, send me a message. Let's make sure you are doing the move properly. This is exactly what I do with clients is I don't just help them create the workout and create their workout for them and say, hey, go do this. But no, we track your weights, we track your progress, we check in on your movement patterns. You've never done a deadlift before. Okay, I'm not going to give you weight and we're going to try to set it up in the normal way where our hands are in front. But so often we're not used to that move that I'm going to give you 3 other tweaks to build that foundation first. So if you are unsure, if there is pain, if something does not feel right, reach out and ask for help. Reach out and ask for me, find another personal trainer, whatever that looks like, go get support from a professional. And I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend on certifications. I'm a certified personal trainer. I've gone to school. I went to Central Michigan University for schooling on this. I did an internship. I have my certification. I practice with clients in person before I even moved my business online. I have years and years of hands-on knowledge and support of clients from the age of 20 to 89 currently. So that being said, when you are seeking out a trainer, whether it's me or somebody else, you need to do your due diligence of asking, are you a certified personal trainer? Who is your certification through? And how long have you been a trainer? Not to say that if they're a new trainer and they're like, that's my first week, does not mean they don't know what they're doing, but you need to have that knowledge going into it because your body is so important. And one of the things that bothers me is when 1, we're afraid to ask for help, and 2, we ask for help from somebody who does not know and who is not qualified. So if you are not sure if you're doing something correctly, please reach out to me. I do free food audits. I'm more than happy to do free audits of your movements. You can know that you're like, thank you, Morgan, for giving me that extra stamp of approval of my squat looks good. I'm happy. I'm good to progress onward. I want you to reach out to me and let's talk and let's set up a time. We can set up a Zoom and go through, but that's what I do with every single one of my clients is especially if they've never worked out before. Clients who I know, I've met them at a gym before when I did my internship and years later we reconnected. Different, like I know how their body moves. I know what they taught them. They are fantastic. I know what those body mechanics are. We're good. Every once in a while, I'll have them send it to a little video, just kind of, hey, show me how that's going. Because that is the one thing about being online is so many people give clients programs and they step away. I want you to make sure you feel good. You feel confident that you are not going to have injuries. You're going to have the least amount of injuries as possible. Hopefully, there's no injuries, but also sometimes we pull a pan out of the oven and we throw our back out. Life happens. But if we can make ourselves stronger and we can feel confident when we move our body, that right there is also going to make you want to move it more. So thank you to everyone who took time to submit these questions. Like I said, I had a lot of people pour in some questions. We're going to be doing another Q&A. The next one we'll do is on nutrition. So as you're listening, if you're like, I have nutrition questions or you have more exercise questions, please go to the show notes, click my email, go ahead, send me an email, introduce yourself if we've never met, and send your questions on over. So with that, I want to remind you guys that we are in July and we're in session 2 of our summer strength training boot camp. We have extended into fall. I'm going to be running a fall session coming up. So the link to sign up for fall, those are for in-person classes, Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:15 p.m. at Acme Home Exteriors here in South Lansing. So if you'd like to join us, go check out the show notes, jump in before class fills up. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Send me your questions and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for tuning in to the EmpowerHer Wellness podcast. I hope you found today's episode inspiring and packed with actionable tips. Remember, your journey to becoming the strongest, most confident version of yourself is just beginning. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and join our community of empowered women. Until next time, stay strong and stay confident.